Hi, welcome to IST611. This is week 4. We'll be discussing social bookmarking. But before we do, I just wanted to mention how much I enjoyed reading both the forums and also meeting all of you on Skype and comparing Skype and Adobe and discussing some of the issues about Twitter. It's been kind of an exciting week. We really don't have such real-life examples of various Web 2.0 tools, but the use of Twitter in the People's Revolution in Egypt is really quite remarkable. And also the information that Megan gave us. Megan is one of our super tweeters, and that is wonderful. I think we learned a lot from her experience of being a grad assistant in the iSchool, in one of the classes at the iSchool. And I hope all of you had a chance to see the video of that professor. It's really excellent. It's one of the most effective ways I have seen Twitter used. And I'm hoping what we can do is jump in. You have read about Twitter. You have talked about Twitter. Well, now it's time to tweet. The only way you really get a sense of these tools is if you try them. Because sometimes it's kind of intimidating to try it at first. All of you now are members of Twitter, and I said to follow me. But rather than just following me, I have a better idea. In looking over what Megan had explained and then looking at the video, I think we need, as I mentioned earlier, to set up a hashtag. So our hashtag will be, the # IST611. So I would like all of you to jump in and start tweeting. And at the end of your message, put in the hashtag # IST611. And then when you go to TweetDeck, you download TweetDeck, and in one of the columns, choose that hashtag. And so every time anybody in the class sends out a tweet and has that hashtag in it, all of us can read it. Now, tweet about the class, anything professional that has to do with the class. You might find some resources. You might find other articles. You want to ask questions. You want to reflect on what we're learning. Just jump in and do it. Okay, and I'll also be doing it. And I think that's how you'll get used to it and understand it, play with it like this. It's a safe environment. It's just us. And so please don't hesitate, because then you can start to think about, how would I use it professionally? How would I use it with students? And so that's one thing we'll be doing this week. Now, on to social bookmarking. Social bookmarking is all about organizing, classifying, and sharing. One of the articles that I have put in the resources, I think you'll find interesting. It's a comparison of tagging versus taxonomy. It's folksonomy, and the word folksonomy comes from tagging. You use keywords rather than very precise hierarchy of subject headings. And some librarians, when social bookmarking first came out, got very upset by that. It wasn't unique enough. It wasn't controlled. It wasn't a very specific taxonomy, a hierarchy of terms. And actually, it works wonders. It's fabulous. Social bookmarking is incredible. And it has a lot of power working with kids. We're going to be looking at DIGO, D-I-I-G-O. I'd like you to become a member of DIGO. And we have a group. It's already started. You'll see this, I don't know, about 60 members. And you'll recognize many of them. They're my students from last year, and they've stayed on. And so when you start identifying and tagging and putting in websites to this group, many of them will recognize your names. So it's all iSchool students that are in this group. And the name of the group is iSchool space 611 space Web 2.0. And the way you log into this, it's an open group. You don't need to have a password. You don't have to have an invitation. Once you become a member of DIGO, you just go to digo.com and become a member, join. And then there's a listing for groups. And under that, you can search. So if you just type in iSchool space 611, our group comes up. And just click on join. And then you start tagging. You identify websites that have some relevance to our class, any of the topics in our class. Just look at the syllabus and think of some of the different topics, and as you find websites. So if you have educational websites that you think are wonderful, that you want to share, please do. That's the whole idea of it. And you can also look through all the different websites that people shared last year. And then we'll get a sense of, and if you're using DIGO, then you can get a sense of it, because you can form private groups. And this is an open group. But if I was a teacher, I would have a private group, and I would have different students in the private group along with the teacher and myself. And then students can share. And one of the nifty things about DIGO is look at the sticky yellow notes. If you have a private group and you go in, you can post a sticky yellow note, and as students, we can be evaluating a website, but nobody else can see that, only the people in the group. So I want this week for you to play with some of these special features and understand how powerful that is. You'll be having kids on their own time, weekends and evenings, going in and tagging and evaluating websites on their own time. So that extends that library period for an hour or two, depending on how involved the kids are. They like using Web 2.0 tools. They're motivating. And what we want is for them to be able to know how to classify, identify, and evaluate websites. And Diigo helps us do that. So it's very powerful. For assignments, I have posted the assignment, the wiki, which is assignment 1, task 2. It's not due for 2 weeks. It's not due this week. It's not due till the end of the next week, but I have posted it. You will be writing with your partner. You will be writing curriculum, not a full curriculum unit or lesson, descriptions of 2 different lessons. And what I'll do is next week, next Tuesday, February 15th, day after Valentine's Day, I will have a Skype session, and it's open to anybody who would like to come. If there's too many, I'll split it and we can have it at different times. If you want to join me in the Skype session, email me the best times you think would be good, and I'll try to hit it that most people who would like to come to it can. And what we're going to be doing is talking about curriculum. Many of you don't have an education background, and this assignment might be difficult. If you have not written curriculum and if you don't have an understanding of the AASL standards or the IST standards, I am there, and I'm very happy and willing to go back over this. What is inquiry? How do you do that? How do you be able to develop an objective? How do you integrate the technology, identify the phases of inquiry, any and all of that? I am here and I will help you. Ask questions, I'll go back over it, and I'll give you some references and examples and to help you understand that curriculum. One important thing too is I listed the AASL standards under the assignments. It will link you to where you can buy the book, the standards, Standards for 21st Century Learner. They're not available online. The top level standard is and the indicators, but what you need to work with are the benchmarks. And the benchmarks are really, what do the indicators look like at 2nd grade, at 5th grade, at 8th grade, at 10th grade, and at 12th grade. And that's what librarians work with. We work with the benchmarks. And so if you don't have a copy of that book, you need to buy it. Every librarian has to have it. Those are our national standards, indicators, benchmarks. And if that's confusing to you, then come to the Skype session and I'll get a little bit more into that. And I'll explain the differences curriculum-wise as far as what that terminology is. So be sure to check and look at all of that. I'm asking you also to go into Google Reader. That is an RSS feed. We're preparing for next week. I need you to go in, set up a Google Reader, and you don't have to do anything else. Just enroll. So you have it on your computer and it's set. And then next week you'll start to add blogs. Google Reader is what's called an RSS feed, and you can add different blogs. Instead of going out and having to look at a blog, 10 or 15 blogs each week, they will come to you. As soon as it's updated, it comes to you in your Google Reader. It's kind of like a newspaper, and you're pulling in all the new articles that are written, and it's kind of compiling all different articles. Well, you're compiling different blogs. And so we need to prepare to do that. So all you have to do is sign up to Google Reader, and then next week we'll talk about it and discuss it. So I think that's about it. If there are any questions, if they're Skype me, a few of you are, which I'm enjoying very much, being able to talk to you and kind of getting to know you on a one-on-one basis. Email me. The other thing too is the collaborative technology project. You need to start to finalize that, decide where you're doing it and who you're doing it with. Now remember too that this should be a fairly complex project. This is a semester-long project, and the collaboration part and the planning. Who's responsible for what? That's all very important. You'll have 2 different reports to update how you're doing. But this is a very large portion of your grade. It's almost, I think, 30% of your grade. So it needs to be more than just one small project that you would do in a few days. This is something that You want to be able to learn how to collaborate, how difficult it is at times and how easy it is and what strategies, and you'll reflect on all of that. And something that a librarian, teacher, the best of all possible worlds is to do something and then teach it to students. You want to be able to get as much experience out of this as you possibly can. I'm available if you're not sure, if you have an idea but don't know how to expand on it, or if you think it's too big and you can't get it done, whatever. Please email me, talk to me, and I'll help you work on it so you can really narrow it down and have a good experience. If you're having problems finding someplace, let me know, and I will help you with that. We can reach out to Blythe and to other people there in Syracuse, or, I don't know, depending on where you live, I might have contacts too, so who knows. But whatever it is, just don't sit there and worry about it. Definitely contact me. And I hope you have a good week. I hope the snow and the ice isn't too bad in your area. The last 3 weeks, we have been closed every Wednesday for the last 3 weeks. And now they're saying that we're going to have another storm Tuesday into Wednesday. So I don't know what it is with Wednesdays, but I'm getting used to being off a day in the middle of the week, which isn't good. So have a good week. It was nice talking to you.